All right, first, the number one fishing knot that you should know before you go out on the water is the Palomar knot. Almost every angler has heard of this knot, and if you haven't, I don't know where you've been, because it is one of the strongest knots ever invented. And one of the great things about it is it's super simple to tie. So if you're nervous about tying fishing knots and you don't know that many of them, and you're thinking, oh no, the Palomar knot's the really strong one, it must be really hard to do. It's super simple. It does have its limitations because you do need quite a bit of line. You have to kind of loop it over itself. I'll have a video kind of playing within this video on YouTube for those of you who are watching so you can see how it works. But you do have to have a little bit more line to start with, and you have to be able to feed a loop through the eyelet of whatever you're tying, and you do have to feed that lure back through, or that hook. So it can be a bit of a limitation. It can take a little bit longer. It can be a little bit harder to do at night in the dark when you're night fishing. So there are some limitations to it, but I'll tell you what, as far as strength goes, the Palomar knot is a must-know knot. If you're going to go out on the water, especially if you're going to pursue any kind of the big game type fish in freshwater, your catfish, your carp, any of those bigger fish, you should know the Palomar knot because it is insanely strong and it works really well. One thing I would caution you on, if you are using braid or any kind of line that slips a little bit, is make sure that thing is good and tight before you cut that tag end off. Make sure that it's secure, make sure it's ready to go, because again, you don't want to lose that fish, and you certainly don't want to lose that $15, $20 lure either. So ensure that you have that knot tied well. I will say it is not my go-to knot all the time. I do use it in big game situations, but I don't use it every time. Thanks for listening to the Angling Wisdom Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please go to patreon.com/anglingwisdom to sign up for bonus content or just to show your support for the show. You can also subscribe wherever you are listening to or watching this podcast. You can follow us on the socials by searching for Angling Wisdom on Instagram or Facebook. Thanks again to PK Lures for sponsoring this show. You can go to pklure.com and use the code WISDOM to receive 20% off of your next order. And of course, you can always go to anglingwisdom.com for more fishing content. This is Patrick Edwards signing off. I hope to see you out on the water.